Hello to my replay viewers. I'm just trying kind of a background this time. Couldn't find anything exciting to put in the view of the camera for the very beginning. Welcome, Sarah, Jessica. Who else is here? I'm going to flip around here. Welcome. It is a cloudy day. Hey, Jessica. Hey, Beth Ann. Very cloudy day. So I have, okay, this is like my little hack for a light. I have this OT light that I use for sewing. It's got like the natural daylight kind of technology. Hey, Danielle. So I like flip it all the way up and put it back behind. Hi, Sarah. That's kind of fun. I'm glad you're here live. I flip this OT light up and I'm going to show you. I'll put it in front of the camera. See if you can see it. Oh wait, I got to flip it around. Ha. Oh, I don't know if you can see it. So I just flip it all the way up and put it to where it's kind of hitting my face so that it's not, it's not turning around. There we go. So that my face isn't totally dark. So there's a little hack if you have one of these lights. You can put it up and help with some lighting. Hey, Gianna. Welcome. So I just wanted to jump on today because I had of course I've had all these thoughts running through my head since yesterday. It's an OT light, OTT-LITE. They sell them at all the craft stores. They're kind of spendy, but Sarah, you make hearts by just tapping the screen if you're watching in the app rather than on periscope.tv. You can find the OT lights at most of the craft stores, but a lot of times Joann's will have like 50% off. So I actually found mine at Goodwill a few years ago. It was a total score. And then the bulbs last pretty much forever. I've never had to replace mine. So anyway, I had some more thoughts running through my head that yesterday when Periscope dumped me, there were a couple things that I'd wanted to say that I'd lost my train of thought and hadn't said. And then I've been reading some more things too. And so I just wanted to, well, thank you very much. I just wanted to jump back on for a little bit today with a couple more things. So one thing that I was going to say yesterday, oh, by the way, I'm Melissa from MakerySpace.com. I have a shop on Etsy called A Time for Everything. I've been doing that for 4 years, 3 years full time. And then MakerySpace.com is a site where I just love to use my experience to help out other Etsy sellers with little tips and tricks and things that my left brain stuff loves to figure out and share. And I know some creatives are just live more in the right brain and don't love that stuff as much, so I just really enjoy sharing these things with my fellow Etsy sellers. So yesterday I got on and talked about the formal announcement Etsy had made regarding some search changes, and I had mentioned that many of us who kind of like to pay attention to these things have been noticing things for some time now, but it's been left to us to kind of just experiment, try out some things and speculate as far as the degree to which some of these changes we're having. Yeah, Gianna, you're such a great supporter, even though you don't sell on Etsy. So anyway, they finally defined exactly what they're looking at in search. Instead of sending people back to the old articles, they're saying, okay, this is, you have an Etsy shop. I'm glad you're here. What's your first name? A with or one. I love to start associating first names with usernames because it's not always obvious. If you want to pop that in there, I'll see it. So instead of sending people back to all their ancient articles about how to get found in search, which were really outdated. Hi, Amanda. Now they're being a lot more transparent about, yes, this is what we're looking for. And like I mentioned, they're never going to tell us exactly this is this much weight and this is that much weight as far as the algorithm. They're just not going to tell us that, just like Google doesn't spill all the specifics about their algorithm. But I do appreciate that they're being a lot more intentional about saying this is what's important that you need to pay attention to. So some of those things have been around for a long time that they put in their list of 6. Some of those things have been a little bit more recent, like it was so outdated. It was crazy, Beth Ann. It drove me crazy when admins would be like, go read this article. And I'm like, oh, really? Seriously. The location issue that affects Australia and the UK, that was like the most recent thing next to this update, this announcement that was made yesterday. But like titles and tags, that's been in place forever. Recency has been in place for quite a long time. The quality, the listing quality, they're defining it more, like saying that it produces a score when you have clicks and you have favorites and you have purchases. That's something that we've been seeing for quite a while, but they haven't come out and said, yes, this is affecting where you land in search. So now they're saying, yes, you get a score and this is affecting it. I also really like, thanks, Sarah. I also really like the fact that they're specifying that it only helps you when it's coming from search, that your listing quality is only determined that way, because there's so many people that do these teams and these favorite games and stuff, and they think it's going to hurt or help them, and they're just really wasting a lot of time. And so now I think that someone can go, no, Etsy is saying that it is a result of someone doing a search for a certain phrase, you coming up in search, and then what happens from there, rather than coming from a team. So I think that's going to be helpful for people to have that clarified. So really, the only thing that was brand new in their announcement is the whole customer and marketplace experience. That's the stuff where I was encouraging you yesterday to get those things done that are affecting that part, because you're going to have an edge. If you make sure you have that about page up, your policies filled out, your shipping profiles and processing times, if you can make sure that that customer experience component is covered well by your shop, then that is going to help you, because you're here because you pay attention to things. You want to improve your shop. You are someone who wants to be on top of things. There are a lot of sellers who don't pay attention to these kinds of announcements by Etsy, changes to search. They'll end up finding out about a month down the road. So the fact that you care and you want to be on top of it now is going to give you an edge, because there may be people, competitors that are selling the same types of things as you, where you're going to get these things in place and it's going to be helping you in search. My shop is a time for everything, and it's the number 4, because written out was already taken by someone who's never used it on Etsy. Okay, so that was the only thing that was brand new. So I wanted to point that out. Not that you don't need to pay attention to the other things, but those things have already been affecting search ranking for at least a little while now. So there's a few things I've been kind of like hiding in bushes and listening in on Etsy conversations. Not really, but I've been trying to curate some answers to questions in all the different places that Etsy is online. So I just wanted to kind of share a few of those with you, because there may be things you're wondering about in the announcement that they made yesterday. A lot of people have been expressing concerns about reviews, saying that that's going to be a problem if there's a really difficult customer that leaves a bad review, or that worried that customers are going to hold that over sellers' heads and that kind of thing. So here's a few clarifications that admin has given about reviews. One is that it's a review average. So now that could hurt a little bit if you're brand new and your first review is bad, or you have just 5 reviews and 2 of them are bad. So I don't think that's typical. And if it is happening, that's a good indication that there's something that you need to adjust so that you're getting some of those good reviews in. But I don't think that's going to be typical. But it's bye, Sarah. I'll see you later. They are saying that it's a review average, and that it's just a part of it. That's not. You have to realize that too. There's different weights assigned to these different areas, and even within one category, there's going to be different weights assigned. So it's not going to be like if one thing happens in one area, like let's say you have a case opened against you, or you have a bad review. It's not going to all of a sudden send that an item plummeting in search, because there's a whole bunch of things. Do you have the fear that a competitor will try to buy and leave bad reviews on purpose? I just can't waste my energy worrying about things like that. I would hope someone wouldn't be that dishonest, but yeah, I don't worry about that. If I ever saw something like that, and I'm kind of sleuthy, and I can discover that it's a competitor, and I would report something like that to Etsy. But that's just not something that I'm worrying about. So one person had expressed several concerns in a post to Etsy, and this is one response that they got. We know that it's not uncommon for a shop with a higher volume of orders to have cases opened against them on occasion. For that reason, the search algorithm reviews the rate of recent cases in line with the overall sales volume of your shop. This, along with your entire review average, is just one of many factors in your search placement. Much like how the search algorithm is frequently adjusted for improvements, the history and importance of factors, yeah, that's true, Danielle. The history and importance of factors in customer and marketplace experience you're mentioning may change over time. Keep in mind that these factors are not equally weighted to determine the order of the results. So if a shop has had a misstep in the past, there are other positive factors that may outweigh the issue. So I think it's just really important not to become paranoid, just to be providing excellent customer service, excellent customer experience in all areas of your shop. And if you have those occasional things where there's a customer that's difficult or something happens, don't worry that it's just going to all of a sudden destroy you. Okay, it's just one part, and it's just one small thing among many factors. And they also clarify that the exact breakdown of how much each factor contributes to search results is complex and something that we're constantly refining and changing. Focusing on quality of your listings and the relevance of your tags and titles is the best way to stay relevant. So that's a good little clue there. Tags and titles are still huge, and the quality is huge. So I would say they're kind of telling us that those are the two most weighted factors. I would use that as a cue. Also, little clue there that we're constantly refining and changing. So, you know, it's evident. We notice it with Etsy. They're like, oh, they tweaked something because some things are a little bit different now. Constantly refining. So I have a guess that maybe the shop updates feature that they introduced not long ago, where you can, excuse me, I'm going hoarse, where you can upload a picture and share it on your Etsy page, and you can share it to Facebook, and you can share it to Instagram. I wonder if maybe they will start considering that in customer and marketplace experience. Possibly. That could be one of the tweaks that they introduce. So they're just always looking at ways to improve it. But the impression that I got from reading some of the responses from admins is that they were really wanting to be more transparent and reveal some things that they're not worried about people gaming, but they want to see people doing. They want to see people providing a better customer experience. They want to see quality listings. So those aren't things where, oh no, if we reveal these, people are going to start messing with search. No, they want that. And I think that, you know, some of the outside factors with their stock dropping and with Handmade on Amazon opening up, they're really, really trying to emphasize ways to make this personal and a great experience for customers so that customers are coming to Etsy to shop for handmade stuff. So I think that's one of the reasons that they're emphasizing it as well. Okay, so those are just a few things I wanted to clarify, just to let you know that that was really the main new thing. But those other areas that have been going on, now that you know, yes, this is affecting search for sure now, you can be on top of that and have an edge when it comes to your shop on Etsy. Are there any questions that have come up since you've been thinking through this in the last couple of days that you are wondering about? I can see if I've come across anything to answer. Anyone have anything? Okay, anybody who didn't have an about page or policies, did you start working on that? Maybe you all already had one, which would be awesome. But if you didn't, or any of my replay listeners, just want to remind you to get on top of those things, about page, your policies, and your shipping profiles and processing times. Okay, any questions at all? All right, well, if I have any further thoughts, I'm actually going out of town for the weekend. Having the photos on the about page and profile photo is so important. I totally agree. And just utilizing that, utilizing that. You have that entire page. You can add links. You can add pictures. There's so much you can add to that about page to make it personal. Just totally utilize it as much as you can. As far as the quality being more important, I think that to combine designs of variables. Okay, I'll get Danielle. Remind me of that one if I forget what you're asking there. As far as quality being more important, I don't necessarily think with this new announcement that they're making it more important than they've already shown that it is over the past several months or however long we've been noticing. Like you'll notice if you have a listing that sells often, that will typically be higher in search results for that searched phrase because there are purchases happening. There's obviously clicks happening, and there are purchases happening. So I think the quality thing started a while ago, and I don't necessarily think it's become more important. But because you know for sure those three things, clicks, favorites, and purchases from search are definitely being weighted in the algorithm, then you have that edge of knowing that you can do some things to try to make sure that those things are going to happen. Okay, so Danielle, your other question, will you post that again? I'm sorry. It went out of my brain. It's okay if you want to ask it here. I'm happy to answer it in case it might help, the answer might help somebody else. It had to do with variations. Are you wanting to know if it's better to incorporate variations and have one listing, or to separate and to have multiple listings rather than one listing with multiple variations? Is that what you're asking? Okay, I think Danielle might have hopped off, so I will let her ask that specifically over on Facebook. Oh, there she is. Okay, that's what you're asking. So I think that if you can make multiple listings instead of doing one listing with variations, then yes, that's best, because that's going to put more items in your shop, and it's going to give you more chances of being found. Yes, and you got to remember too that this listing quality thing is on individual listings. So it's not like an overall shop quality thing. So your listing ranking in search is dependent on that listing getting clicks and favorites and purchases. So, but if you can create multiple listings for the same type of item, you're just better off doing that. Now, I think that variations are handy for other things that may not easily produce multiple listings from it. So that's like one of my wallets. I have processing time. I have like a standard and a rush processing time as a variation. I wouldn't create separate listings, one that's a standard processing time for that wallet and one that's a rush processing time for that wallet. It could get kind of confusing when people are purchasing and they don't have to select from the drop down. So I like to use the variations mostly for things that could be confusing, or that I'm going to have to send convos or receive questions via convo about because it's not clear right before. Yes, you want to be able to see the options before they purchase. I love using variations for forcing the customer to make a choice before putting it in the cart, because it reduces lots of questions via convo. So that's my favorite thing for variations. I think if you can avoid using them in place of multiple listings, that's best. Does that answer your question, Danielle? But sometimes when you're starting out, like with a new product, and you haven't had a chance to make a bunch in different fabrics or different whatever, you could have a listing with variations, and then as you're able to make those products and add them to your shop, then create separate listings for those and then remove them from the variations. That's one way you could do it if you want to get started at least. You're welcome. Okay, anything else? All right, well, I think that this really overall could be a good thing. I don't think it's anything to be afraid of. This whole addition of the customer experience, the marketplace experience, I think it can really produce some positive things and keep us on our toes. I actually thought of a couple things yesterday. I'm like, you know what? I really need to up my game in this area. So it's going to help us grow. It's going to help us in search. And so I think let's just go for it. Let's just find some ways that we can improve and really be excellent in the customer experience and marketplace experience area. Okay? Have a great rest of your day. I appreciate you. Thanks to my replay viewers as well. Thanks, Beth Ann, for being here. And you guys, can you believe that my phone is refusing to stop the broadcast again? I just need to plan on this and power down immediately. So I just have to sit here and maintain a smile and not look totally goofy while I hit my power down button and my phone turns off. This is so ridiculous. And now it's not even letting me turn my phone off. Oh, I need to troubleshoot this. Any other Android users heard